Hello, everybody. Thank you. We're here today with Sandra Philippeaux, lovely casting director, writer, producer, just a wonderful role model for women out there, showing that it's possible for us to make our way in this business. So, Sandra, thank you. Thank you for being with us.
Katerina, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Let's get into it. How did you start out? What were some of your first roles in the industry? How
Yes,
did you come to it?
absolutely. Well, we have to start from the very beginning,
Okay.
kind of like education and background and things like that before I was even able to get a first role. Um, I come from a Caribbean background. My parents are from Haiti. And as a first generation American, of course, comes with expectations from your parents and, an amazing hard work ethic. Um, but something like television and film was not supposed to be on the cards. You're supposed to do, go the safer routes. Go be a doctor, a lawyer, um, anything else but a television producer and casting director. So growing up, I didn't know a lot about the about the industry, and honestly, I didn't see a lot of women or even people of color that were doing like some big things. And so it was kind of a mystery to me. So my feeling, my desire growing up, honestly, was just see if I could take enough like creative classes on the side to kind of figure out what I'd love to do, when I grew up, essentially. Um, I ended up going to college. I went to a science high school, but then
Wow.
I ended up, yeah, exactly, science-based high school. Then I ended up going to Syracuse University, and I was able to major in communications. And that's kind of where the actual technical knowledge of what it's like to work in the industry started. So I went to Syracuse University, um, got my bachelor's in communication, and the journey began. The journey began from there. So that's kind of the start of the career. I did do a lot of internships while I was in school. I interned. This is going to be a throwback for Geraldo Rivera. I interned for ESPN. And I did a bunch of stuff to kind of find my way of what I think I'd like to do. But as you know, the industry is not easy. Um, and, you have to work really hard, long hours, figuring it out. And about a year and a half in, I was working for ESPN at the time. I decided that I really wanted to like model my trajectory after, people I admire at that point, like Spike Lee and I wanted to go to film. And so I ended up going back to school. I went to Columbia Film School, which was some of the best years of my life. And really just for the next 2.5 years, just completely immersed myself in the art of filmmaking and screenwriting and working with actors. And that was beautiful. So that's the education part.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It feels like, yeah, like with having to do the science and the creative on the side, like you've had to do double duty. So, I sometimes look at that like, that um those obstacles, those things that kind of push us in a corner sometimes, they really prepare us the most.
Absolutely.
Having yeah, first generation, same here, first generation Americans. It's like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think the kind of the biggest things I've learned throughout just my journey and my career is take chances. it's it's going to be hard. Take risk. You will fail and you will fail again. You'll fail multiple times. But if you don't even try, where are we going with this? So, although it was completely unfamiliar terrain for me, just television overall, I kept pushing. I kept going out there. Um, and eventually, I did Columbia Film School, and then my first job, kind of in film, was with Scott Rudin Productions. I was a development, we call that development girls, or just a development associate, that which basically, you read scripts and you wrote coverage and you essentially pitched projects, to the director of development. So that's what I did for a little while. And then it gets a little bit confusing from there. Kind of jumped all over the place after that. But that was one of my first experience. And he was a huge producer for film and Broadway, and it was a very challenging environment. But I learned so much.
Wow. Wow. And I find it so interesting. You've done a lot of great shows since then as well. What's it like? Because I think this is the first time we've interviewed somebody from the reality TV side.
Everything you
Okay.
hear is times 10. I mean, I'm in a field of huge personalities, and that was my first kind of foray into reality. I had to find people that had lives, and personalities that we would literally want to tune into week after week. And so I just had to get really, really creative about finding people and casting reality. Reality, when done well, is better than anything you can write. When it's done well. And guess what? And sometimes it is just fun. And sometimes, it is thought provoking. Like, there's different realms of reality TV. So it's not just one thing. And what was always important to me as I became a very experienced casting director is find people who find people who would never imagine telling their story on TV and convince them to do it. Those make
Wow.
the best characters, those make the best shows. People who would never say, "Hey, pick me, I want to be on TV." No, pick people with great stories who wouldn't think that this is the right space for them, but it turns out to be the best space for them.
It's so interesting because, like, I think producers that get scripts that, have that caveat of based on real life events, so it's kind of like two sides of the same coin here, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. And I think, you know, and I have to say this, I feel like, having gone to film school, there was this little air of like reality TV, like, we are artists as filmmakers. But working in the industry for decades at this point, it's it's telling a story. It's simply telling a story in the best way possible, through the eyes of that particular cast member. And it's amazing. I love the job. I love that space completely.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yes, reality shows definitely. I think my first reality show. I think I did a few dating shows, just like low level, like as an AP. But my first casting director job, or my second casting director job, was Teen Mom, and
Wow.
it was an amazing, concept and idea, and we weren't sure what we were gonna get out of it. We just didn't know. It was like untraveled territory, and so me and my team found the first season of young women who were going through challenging times and, pregnant as a teen, and, follow their stories, follow their family stories. And honestly, kind of the rest is history. They've been one of the longest running franchises on MTV, been on the air pretty much 15 years. So yeah,
Wow.
yes, it
Wow.
was, yeah. So it's been pretty amazing.
That is. I just wonder, just out of curiosity, do you still keep in touch with some of the people?
I still work on the show.
Well, no, no, no. Some of
Oh,
the people that have, like, from previous seasons, like,
oh, the
are you,
cast members.
yeah, the cast
Yes,
members. Yes.
yes. A lot of them are still on the show to this day. And, I'm a producer on the show, and I work with them and see them. And, yeah, absolutely. After all these years. So really
Wow.
interesting to see, how their journey not has only have played out not only on camera, but, behind the scenes as well. It's really amazing to see. And, so many of the young women now, no longer teens, are doing an amazing job as parents and, just really creating beautiful lives for themselves. So,
That's amazing. That's
hmm
amazing. So you have kind of this two-prong effect. Not only are you producing shows, but you're actually touching people's lives,
absolutely. Changing
making
them,
a difference.
literally changing them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we
Mhm.
kind of forget that aspect when we're watching, reality TV.
Reality, right? And there are different, there's very formatted reality shows like a Love Is Blind, a dating show, and there's more docudrama reality shows like Teen Mom. Um, I did for many years, I was a casting director for ABC's Wife Swap. And so that was just bringing two completely different families and swapping lives. And as entertaining as it was super like educational. And, you learn so much about how people live and, how they parent their children. And so, yeah, there's always, you could get a lot out of different shows. And it depends on what you're looking for. But I'm still the cast director that's always down for a good time. So I will cast a fun show. Ask me, I'll do it.
Wow, wow. And now, like, are you more on the producing side as well? Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm more on the producing side. I'm a consultant. I'm a producer. Like I said, I still work for Teen Mom and work on other projects. And currently I'm pitching my own shows now. So
oh,
look out
brava,
for that. I'm pitching my own
brava.
shows now. So yes, the evolution has kind of expanded way beyond casting at this point, and it's been pretty awesome.
That is fabulous. And yeah, and so now you're pitching your own shows, so you're also a writer as well. Um,
Yes, yes. I majored in screenwriting at Columbia, and I've done a few things and pitched a few scripts. But television obviously took over for the majority of my career, so I've been too busy doing that. But now I'm leaning back into that, and have a few scripts in progress that I hope to I hope it appears on your television screen soon. So
yes,
yes. So
yes,
writing
yes.
as well, definitely, definitely. And this, Katerina, like as an artist, you know, it's important to try. It's limitless, really. What you can explore. You don't have to be in a box. I'm only this. And, the way my brain works, it's just like if there's an idea, I start writing it down. If I'm inspired by something, I start writing it down. Like I immediately go into creator mode. So it could be anything. It could be art. You could literally, sculpt and paint. So yeah. So I'm writing, I'm pitching, I'm television producing, and yeah, I'm doing it all right now.
Wow, such a powerhouse. No, I love it because
Yeah.
I really feel like, just so much of what you touched on there, like how society really enforces, like, oh, go for security,
Right.
you're a woman, so you should only be this, look like this, act like this.
Absolutely.
But, it's so much
Absolutely.
more.
Exactly. Like I said, it's limitless because there are so many kind of rules and expectations. I mean, we've come an amazing, I mean, there are so many women, as you've interviewed a lot of them who are literally have kind of broken through, all of the stigma and all of the expectations and stereotypes. So we're definitely pushing through. But is there a long way to go in Hollywood? Let's be real. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. But again, we've gotten further. We just need to keep pushing, keep working, keep telling stories that are relevant to us, that speaks to us. Make sure we are. And that's one of the reasons I can tell you I agreed to do this interview. I want, young women who look like me to know that it's possible, that look like us, that, you
Yes.
know, speak like us. It's doable, it's possible. I had no idea I could really ever have a sustainable career in the arts in any way because it just wasn't something I saw. But I did it.
And
And young women can do it.
Yeah, we're grateful. We're grateful that you did it again, paving the
Thank
way.
you.
And just in mentioning the casting director aspect, I've
Yes.
heard recently now, like, the Oscars are finally going to have a casting
That
director.
was, let me tell you, that was big news. Well deserved, way overdue. Absolutely. Because I think sometimes we do forget, we applaud directors, we applaud producers who's able to get such an amazing team to create this film, or this television show. And sometimes, casting directors are forgotten. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. And actually, maybe within the last 3 years, for the television, for the Emmys, they added an unscripted
Uh,
casting uh um category. So that was very exciting for me.
see,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, finally the light is shining through.
The light is
Yes,
shining through. The
yes,
light is shining through. So yes, definitely.
wow. Oh, wonderful. I think we're good unless there was something else you wanted to add.
Actually, I would like to say there's no, doing these interviews are fantastic. And again, I applaud you for making that happen and making it accessible to people, on your website. There's no one path. There's no one path. There's no blueprint. You can't pick up a book and say, I'm going to follow these steps and I'm going to become, you know, Meryl Streep. I'm going to become a Viola Davis. I'm going to become, there's no, stay true to your path. Make your way. Think, you know, make a choice. Move forward. Like, the biggest thing is don't stop. If this is really what you want to do, there is a place for your voice. Your voice is unique. No one can tell that story. Like, there's a ton of ideas in Hollywood. Maybe not many that's very new, but everyone is an individual. No one is like you. You can absolutely forge your way and make sure your voice is heard.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, because again, that's a wonderful point
Yeah.
because, we could get lost in, oh, well, I didn't have enough money to go to film school, or, oh, I live in a small town. Nobody, will hear my
Yeah.
voice. I have no audience, what have you, but no, make that closed door jump out the window.
There it is. And I think, something else I want to add, that you're right. You could be in a town that has no connection to Hollywood, like a small town, or like you said, didn't go to film school. Where we are now, 2024, with social media,
Mm,
with YouTube, with TikTok, don't ignore the ways that people are being seen, are creating content, are sharing their story. Perfect example. I'm not sure if you've been following. There's a African American woman who started telling her story on TikTok. Her name is Reese Teese, and she was in a horrible relationship with a narcissist man, and she started telling these like little 60-second, 2-minute TikToks to tell her story about this guy, and it just became viral, and everyone's watching, and basically it was about 60 of these 60-second TikToks that led to her completely telling a story of falling in love and then falling out of love and getting a divorce. Do you know that just recently CAA signed her?
wow.
They signed her because she took a little app called TikTok, told her story because she wanted to get it out there. She wanted to warn other women. She wanted to connect with people who could relate. And that literally led her to a deal with CAA, where I'm sure she's working on writing and maybe developing projects, or maybe even developing her story time into a movie. So there's no one way.
Yeah.
There are many ways to do that. And so you do it. Tell your story.
I love it. I think what you touched on there
Mhm.
too for me was just the sincerity, right? Just be
Yes,
yourself, the sincerity that you bring forth. Yeah.
exactly. Be yourself. Don't be afraid to tell your story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Wow. Sandra, I can't thank you enough. I think you're brilliant. And
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Thank you for having me and inviting me. I appreciate it.
thank you. Thank you, love. Thank you. God bless you.
God
Thank
bless you. All right. Thank you. Bye.
Sword fight, king of the hill.